and the Dogs' deed is done. What can I say? They were the best. They really stood out. They put it all together when it counts, and that's what the sport's all about. What a routine.
And that just may do it for Georgia here tonight.
Wow.
The Jim Dog Show is brought to you by Melwood Springs. Melwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Yackley, and welcome to the Jim Dog Show. With me today is Associate Head Coach Jay Clark, and we just returned from Nashville, Tennessee from the SEC Championships, where Georgia went in as the #1 ranked team in the SEC, as we are also the #1 ranked team in the country. Unfortunately, problems hit us right away on the balance beam, and we were unable to get out of that hole and come back with a win. We finished the competition in second place with Alabama winning the SEC title.
Well, you don't like to learn these kind of lessons in a championship meet, but the positive thing that came out of it is our team did fight. They scratched and clawed their way back into a situation where they made it very interesting at the end and at least made Alabama think about it going into the last rotation. They couldn't take anything for granted. So a lot of grit came on the last 3 rotations of the meet, and it turned out, hopefully, will spark us as we go down the stretch.
And as you can tell from our voices, it was quite disappointing and a hard one to rebound from, as our team really did underperform on that first rotation and dug a hole that we couldn't get out of. Let's take a look at the first 2 rotations of Georgia, where we competed on balance beam and then floor exercise.
So here we are at the Somé Center in Nashville, Tennessee, home of the 2009 SEC Championships, and actually had a great crowd that showed up for us. We probably had 3 of the approximately 5,000 fans that were in the stands on this day, and so we get started on balance beam, and we felt really good about that going in, that we thought it was a good rotation for us. And as you can see, Hillary looks like she's dead on, and then for some reason loses it right there at the end. So our first routine of the night is a fall. She comes back strong here and finishes the routine fairly well, and then Cassidy McComb up second. And at this point, when your first kid falls, everybody gets a little bit tight, and so you just try to get Cassidy to settle down and do a good job for us. And she pushes down the beam here on the series, and then she comes off. So now we've really already dug a hole for ourselves in the first event of the meet. And while you don't want to get down, and it's too early to say what can happen throughout the meet, the kids do begin to get a little bit tight, and that's just human nature. So you see Tiffany does a pretty good routine here, considering the circumstances. A little balance check there. It's probably a 1/10. Switch sleep, straddle jump to back tuck. Pretty solid. The switch sleep could have been a little bigger. I think she held back just a little bit. Punch front. Nothing too bad there. Switch sleep to the gainer layout full on the side. She hops it a little bit forward. Her chest is down a little bit, and she goes 9.775. Now you see Grace almost lose her mount right there. And that's really the only deduction in her routine. Grace settles in here and does pretty typical work for Grace on balance beam the rest of the way, but that mount cost her a little bit. Switch sleep straddle jump. Front aerial right here. Very nicely done. No real deductions other than that mount so far. That was a tiny little balance check, nothing to be concerned over, and then sticks the dismount. So Grace kind of gets us settled down again and gets us moving in the right direction with a 9.875. And Courtney comes up, and what a great night this was overall for Courtney. Just a fantastic meet from start to finish. She is unquestionably the best athlete in college gymnastics right now. Flip-flop layout. You saw the punch front, solid on every landing, really confident, working the beam. Not much rattles her cage at all. That's a switch side there. And then the layout on the beam to the gainer layout full off the side. She sticks it and goes 9.9, so we're starting to feel like we're coming back to life here just a little bit. Courtney McCool is our anchor on balance beam. And there's a big balance check there on her series. Switch side, done very well. That's textbook switch side right there. That's the way you want them done. Front aerial, pretty solid. She had the one big balance check and then a small one right there on the full turn. There's the sheep jump, done very well, not much of a deduction there. And she's getting ready here for her dismount, round off double full, and the step. So a 9.75. We needed a little more out of Courtney on that, but understandably, everybody after those first two falls was probably a little bit tight and not quite themselves. So we go into the bye, and we've got to get our kids encouraged to not give up. And, of course, Alabama goes over to vault with the pressure being off, and Morgan Dennis, as you see, goes 9.95. There was a step on that landing, though. Jamie Pisani, freshman for Arkansas, opening with a double pike on floor. Front full, front lay in the middle. And then comes back and finishes with a double tuck. Very solid routine. Arkansas has made a lot of progress in the last couple of years, 9.875. So we come back out for our second rotation and head over to floor after watching Alabama go 49.425 on vault. And again, we took the pressure off of them before they even hit the floor, so they were able to really let it cut loose. So we go to floor, and we've got some renewed enthusiasm and determination. You can see it written on the kids' faces. Abby opens with a great triple full. There's the double full punch front. She finishes with a double pike, solid landings all the way around, 9.85 on floor. Good start. Next up on floor for us, Marcia Newby, who had to step in as a result of Tiffany not being able to warm up and get things going. Her foot causing her some problems still. Nice double pike there from Marcia. Whip immediate double full. Marcia's just been very dependable when we've needed her to. With very little training, she's been able to go in and be effective on floor and get a 9.85. So, you know, we're up 1/10 on that magical 49 that you look at as a benchmark. And Hillary being third up right here. We need a big one from her. Nice Arabian double. First pass. Second pass to round off 1.5. Front full. A little bit of a step to the side there, but pretty solid. This is a solid routine for Hillary. Nice to see her bounce back after the mistake on beam. A huge double pike there at the end. She goes 9.9 on floor, and we're starting to get some momentum here. And that's really what you need. You can see the team celebrating, and Abby be the first one over there congratulating her. We knew we had a good routine there. So then Cassidy comes up next, opens with a double pike. Very nicely done, and Cassidy's a great performer on the floor exercise. She always has been. 2.5 punch front right here. Solid. That's maybe the best she's done it all year. And then finishes with a double tuck, steps forward, and that would be the only thing I could tell you as to why that was not a 9.9 routine. An excellent routine from Cassidy. Double pike stuck from Grace, and then Grace, when she lands like that, you know, it's a pretty stock routine in terms of the difficulty. There's D's in every pass, but when she lands that way, it's hard to take anything. And right here is the only deduction. You see that little step right there after the 2.5, but a 9.925, and just great to see back-to-back 9.9s on floor at this point. The team's really beginning to kind of feel themselves come back out of the hole a little bit here. Courtney Kupats, Arabian double, a little bit of a kind of an off-balance landing there, not anything too major, about a 0.5 maybe. There's the Rudy to the Shushanova, and then finishes very strong here with a double pike, excellent landing, 9.95, and so now 3 in a row 9.9s or better, and that's what you've got to have. So the team feels good. We go 49.5 on that event. They're celebrating with the fans, trying to get them back into the meet. And a 49.5 will put you back in the hunt in most cases.
The Jim Dog Show is brought to you by Melwood Springs. Melwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia. By GeorgiaDogs.com. GeorgiaDogs.com, the official website of the Georgia Bulldogs. By Brown Arrowhead Clinic. Arrowhead Clinic, Georgia's largest spinal health care organization. By Athens Regional Medical Center. At Athens Regional, we have a specialty. You. By Alpha Factor. Alpha Factor, the official gymnastics apparel worn by the Gym Dogs. By the Georgia Club. The Georgia Club, a community of neighborhoods in Bulldog Country. By Phil Hughes Honda. Phil Hughes, the official Honda of the Georgia Gym Dogs. And brought to you by John Bull's stores in the Bahamas. John Bull, the shopping mecca of the Caribbean.
Ask Suzanne, brought to you by GeorgiaDogs.com. And this week's question is, how do the teams qualify to the regional championships? And that's an easy one. It's by rankings, RQS, regional qualifying score. 36 teams will advance to 6 different regional competitions. We are ranked number 1, so we'll be matched up with the number 12 team in the country, who is currently Penn State, and possibly, looks like it, we are going to NC State. That's Ask Suzanne, brought to you by GeorgiaDogs.com.
Welcome back. Well, after a really rough start on the balance beam, it was nice to see the team bounce back and compete as effectively as they did on floor. We actually get a 49-5 and won that event.
Floor exercise was magnificent. The team, you could tell that they were just so bummed out about what happened on beam. They were going to rally, and they did, and they looked absolutely great. Now we've got to go to the third rotation. We've got to hope that Alabama makes a mistake, because you just can't get back those points you lost. Let's take a look at the vaulting rotation.
Okay, we're back on a bye. Ricky Lebergern on bars for Alabama. Good handstand, giant half. Blind change to a Jaeger. Overshoot hand. Not bad. She had a couple little leg issues in the early going of this routine. A little bit short on that handstand. Half in, half out, knees apart, but does land pretty solidly, 9.85. This is Melanie Sinclair for Florida on the balance beam. And we had been led to believe that Florida was going to go with 5 on every event, but as it turned out, that was actually only the case on one event. They did have 6 on the balance beam. Melanie's been a great athlete for them. Round off double full, big hop on the landing, 9.8 on balance beam. We're coming back after our second bye now. We've still got to fight. We've got to fight to try to claw our way back into this thing. We're halfway through. Lauren Sessler here. Pretty good vault. That step to the side is as a result of her kind of cheating the turn on the table. You'll see that her elbow bends. One elbow bends on the table more than the other, and it looks as though she's pushing herself crooked. And so that step to the side is a result of that direction problem. So Kat Ding up next on vault. She went in for Hillary. Hillary was struggling in warm-ups as well. And Kat does a beautiful vault. Just that step right there on the landing. A 9.85. I thought it was a great vault. There's a little bit of a shape change as she goes to land, but great amplitude. Excellent vault. 9.85. Marcia Newby back on vault. Pretty good vault here, but again, we got these steps going on, and if you're not landing vaults and sticking landings at this time of the year, you're not going to score what you need to score. And we're in a position where we're trying to climb back into this meet. We can't give anything away, and that's what we keep doing right here on these landings. Cassidy McComb, very nice. Yurchenko full, pikes in the landing, and as a result, hops the landing backwards. If she had stayed open in her hips, she might have had a chance to stick that, because it rose off the table very well. And if she hadn't changed shapes to land, she probably could have stuck that. Here's the one stick of the night, Courtney Kupets right here. 9.95, an excellent vault. She warmed it up that way on the training day. She did it again in warm-ups, and so the results were there. We've got to do a better job. We've got to have more of those and less of the steps that we're seeing. Tiffany Tolnay rounding out our lineup, and again, you saw the shape change there. She pikes it down, takes a big step on the end. She does get a 9.9. I'm sorry, a 9.85. And 9.85s at this point will not get us back in it. We've got to have the 9.9s. Morgan Dennis over on balance beam. Flip-flop layout. Switch leap to straddle jump. A little bit of a balance check there. There's her second D salto, the front aerial. A little balance check there. And then a double tuck dismount with a step. She goes 9.8. So after 3 full rotations for us, we're at a 147.425 and approximately 4/10 behind Alabama.
Hi, my name is Adriana. Courtney, how was it like to be on the Olympic team?
Thank you for the question, Adriana. Being on the Olympic team was one of the most, I say, greatest experiences of my life, because it was my first goal in life when I was 11. And my parents supported me in everything that I did, and to reach that goal so early on in life for me was just the most amazing feeling, and I wish you the best of luck in all that you do, and go for your dreams, girl.
Hi, I'm Jan Nail.
I love watching the Georgia Gym Dogs perform. My favorite routine is the floor exercise. I like it because they perform like champions, because they are champions.
Welcome back. Well, we had some good vaulting, but unfortunately the only stuck vault was Courtney Kupets, and you pay that price 1/10 every time you take a step on vaulting. We're about 4/10 behind Alabama. It's going to be a tough one. We've got to hit every bar routine. They're going to floor. You hate to expect or ask or want another team to make mistakes to win. That's not how you win a championship. You do it because you perform well, and we didn't, and Alabama's had a great meet. We're headed over to bars. We're still hanging in there and being positive, but I don't know. It looks like it's going to be a second-place finish for Georgia.
Well, at this point, you just want your team to compete with pride. You want them to finish what they started with the meet and to go out on a big note, and our team is well adept at doing that. You want them to fight. Stranger things can happen. If Georgia were to go 49-6 and Alabama were to go 49-2, it's still possible, but not very likely. And so you just want them to compete with all the heart that they have, and our girls did that. Let's take a look at the uneven bars highlights. We're on bars now, and we know that it's going to take a minor miracle for us to pull it out, but we want the kids to compete with pride and to finish what they got started here. And so Marcia gets us going on bars. Great handstand there. That Stalter came out a little past handstand from the side. I could see that during the meet. Good handstand here. And here's the big deduction for her that prevents her from getting the 9.9 is the dismount. There's a big step. You see that right there. 9.825, solid routine, but we've got to land. So Kat Ding is up second for us. The freshman has done a great job and continues to improve. She's getting better and better and more consistent. Giant full to Tkachev. Her handstands were up in this meet. That one's very good. There's the pack. Much better than the last meet where we saw a little bit of a control issue. Half pirouette on top of the bar. Good handstand here at the end. Now she pulls the dismount in a little bit more than we'd like it to be, but she does stick the landing and goes 9.925, and that is a career high for her, and you can see she's very happy with that, and so were we. Now Gina Nuccio, another freshman. Giant full right here to Ginger. Ginger got in a little bit compared to where she likes it to be. She likes to be a little more stretched when she catches that. But not really a major problem at all. She had a little bit of a short handstand on the first one and then lands a dismount pretty cleanly there, 9.875. Let's skip forward to Tiffany Tolnay here. Grace Taylor going 9.825. Had a little bit of trouble in her routine. So we go to Tiffany here, and Tiffany, nice high Jaeger. Good handstand there on top. Failed a handstand dead on top. And Tiffany's notorious for being able to get vertical on the bars, and like no one else really in terms of consistency. Nice giant full on top. Good stretch there on the dismount, and just a tiny shift of that right foot, but good enough for a 9.9. And we finish out the night with this routine here from Courtney Kupets, who just had a fantastic night all the way around. She nails every handstand in this routine. Nice hop full. Beautiful Tkachev. She's really rolling through this routine. She's got one going. I think the crowd knew it too. Double layout, good direction. Lands it just a tiny shift of the foot right there on the landing and goes 9.975. And that is an SEC championship record for an uneven bar routine. So our fans are revived. It's a little too late, and you can see we're congratulating Alabama. A lot of tears on their faces because they've had a tough year, and to be able to come in and win a championship has got to be a great feeling for them. Final score was a 197.3 for Alabama. Georgia's second with a 196.925, and Florida is in third with a 196.7.
Routine of the Week brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center, and this week's Routine of the Week is Courtney Kupets on the uneven bars as she gets an SEC record with a 9.975. That's Routine of the Week brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center.
Countdown to the NC2A is brought to you by Melwood Springs, and the final regular season poll has Georgia holding on to the top spot, Arkansas rounding out the top 10 with 5 SEC teams represented in the top 10. That's Countdown to the NC2As, brought to you by Melwood Springs. Well, there you have it. We come up a little bit short of our 17th SEC title, Suzanne. A disappointing day, but the team did fight back. Suzanne is the current SEC Coach of the Year, and some great things came out of the meet.
Thank you, Jay. Yes, Courtney Kupets, oh my gosh, how unbelievable was she. She not only won the all-around, but she either won or tied every single event. I said after the competition, she looked like an angel the whole night with wings on. She just floated down into those landings, sticking a ball, beam dismount, bar dismount. I mean, she had glue on her feet. She was unbelievable. And Grace Taylor won the Scholar Athlete Award. So yes, some individual awards were super, but unfortunately that doesn't make up for the disappointing loss. I got to hand it to Alabama. You know, they came in there and took advantage of the opportunity. As soon as we had those two falls right off the bat at the beginning of the meet, you could see them just take a deep breath and go for it. You know, they went for the jugular and took total advantage of the situation. When we opened the door for them, they looked great all night long. Now we're headed over to the NCAA Regionals. We'll find out later today where we will travel to qualify to the national championships. We are still ranked #1, and this is new life going into the national championships. So Georgia's headed into this competition with some confidence, and I believe, and I know Jay does too, we've talked about it, that maybe this is the little shakeup that we needed to go all the way. We'll see you next week with preview to the NCAAs.
The Jim Dog Show has been brought to you by Millwood Springs. Millwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia. By GeorgiaDogs.com. GeorgiaDogs.com, the official website of the Georgia Bulldogs. By Brown Arrowhead Clinic. Arrowhead Clinic, Georgia's largest spinal health care organization. By Athens Regional Medical Center. At Athens Regional, we have a specialty. You. By Alpha Factor. Alpha Factor, the official gymnastics apparel worn by the Gym Dogs. By the Georgia Club. The Georgia Club, a community of neighborhoods in Bulldog Country. By Phil Hughes Honda. Phil Hughes, the official Honda of the Georgia Gym Dogs. And brought to you by John Bull's Stores in the Bahamas. John Bull, the shopping mecca of the Caribbean.